Hi, this is Kat Sturtz from rockingyourpath.com with another episode of Fast Action Fridays. My special guest today is all the way on the other side of the continent from me. I'm here in Michigan, and Brenda Blindenback is way over in British Columbia, Canada. And I'm so delighted to have her here because we spend a lot of time talking about business issues. And we also spend a little time on life issues. And Brenda's here to help us make lifestyle changes more easily. Those things that we want to do and change about our life and sometimes don't get to or think it's going to be too hard to do. So we never kind of get started on it and what things to kind of watch out for. So Brenda, I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you, Kat. I'm so delighted to be here. It's been a while since we chatted, right?
I have forgotten exactly how we first met online, but it's been several years now.
Yes, it has.
Yeah. All right. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Okay, thanks for asking. I've had type 2 diabetes for nearly 30 years. And then about 4 years ago, I was told that it could be reversed. And I was really glad about that because I had been taking more and more insulin every year, quite a bit. And then I started to show signs of neuropathy. And that is really, really scary. So, having these health issues and my business was just coasting along. So it brought in a lot of anxiety and stress and sleepless nights. Then an opportunity came into my life, which I was so excited about because I finally found a solution for not only my health issues, but also for a way to get paid for what I was worth. So now this is what I do. What I do now is to help women who have similar health issues, chronic issues, and also to help women who have, are in jobs or in careers that feel that they're not compensated for their worth, to find a way, something that would help them to have excitement, bring the excitement back to their life again. So that's what I do right now.
I love that you've been able to match a passion with a life-changing aspect in your own life and to bring those together, because I know a lot of my followers, and I would think almost 100% of my clients, are looking for a way to merge two separate topics into one cohesive business for themselves. And some people say you can't do that and be successful, and we're proving them wrong. Yes, you can.
And it took me a little while, but it's all come together.
Yes, great. I want you, for those that aren't familiar with the term, can you describe what neuropathy is?
Neuropathy is when you lose feeling in, usually the ends of your fingers and toes, because the nerves have been damaged. So you can get numbness, and then you could lose a finger or toe or whatever, right?
Yes,
so
my husband's got
one of
that.
The complications.
My husband's got that. He doesn't have diabetes. He's insulin resistant, but due to other complications on the medical side, he's losing the feeling in his fingers and the pain in his feet. And he's a retired chef, so that, having trouble holding a knife is a problem for him.
Absolutely, yes. And it doesn't have to be just diabetes. You can get them through stroke and other things.
Okay. So you're telling me that you have some tips and fast actions that we could take to make some lifestyle changes for ourselves that are kind of easy to do if we just take the action, correct?
Right.
All right. Why don't you tell us about those?
Okay. So the whole thing is when we are not eating properly, most of a lot of chronic issues um, happens because we are of lifestyle, because of the diet we're having, right? So once we change that, that makes a huge difference to changing our health. So the first thing I think we need to look at is the gut health, because that's where inflammation first starts. Have you heard of that saying by Hippocrates, the Greek physician? All disease begins in the gut. And
What we
science
eat.
is, yes, and science is proving him right. So this new emerging field in science, which is called the gut microbiome, has been emerging for the last decade or so, and is putting the emphasis back on the gut. So it's to do with the microbiome. The microbiome is a group of organisms that, things like bacteria and fungus and yeast, all that, it's just called the microbiome. They live in the gut. There are over 100 trillion microbes in the gut, and also over the body, in your mucous membrane and all that. But here's the thing, 70% of your immune system is found in the gut. And 90% of it, of the neurotransmitters, is found not in the brain, in the gut.
That one I didn't know.
Yes, so it affects your moods, why people are depressed, why they get moody, why they get fearful, and on and on. Anything to do with mood, anything to do with brain functioning. So, and these gut bacteria work for you. So when we don't have, when it's out of kilter, because you have good bacteria and bad ones, and you need both of them, but when the ratio is off balance, that's when you get dysbiosis, and that's what most of us have because we're not looking after the gut.
Something I have said on several shows, when our pets get sick, the first thing we look at is their diet. Why
Yes.
don't humans and the medical profession do that also?
I don't know. Maybe it's because, if they realize they have to change it, and we don't like to get out of our comfort zone. We don't like to. Change is not easy, right?
Right. If it's our pet, we're making the change on their behalf. But if it's for ourselves, it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to change that habit.
That's right. That's right. So,
all right. So continue.
So, what we can get all these things from our diet. So, for instance, there's one of the things that is missing in our diets, huge, is fiber. Now we know that. Now, for instance, women need about 32 grams of fiber. Men need about 38, 40 grams of fiber. Guess what we're getting? We're getting less than 15 grams or less of fiber. And why is this important? Because we know now, most of us know that we need fiber to eliminate, right? But we don't know that fiber is what these gut microbes live on. Oh. So we're starving them. And they're working on our behalf. So if they're not getting the food, you know what happens when we don't eat well? I mean, we don't eat enough, right?
We get those parts of our body we don't want. Little pouches here and there that we'd rather go away.
Exactly. So we need to get this, of course, from our food. And we get prebiotics from things like apples, bananas, Jerusalem artichoke, chicory, jicama root, seaweed, all these things. But onions, leeks. But the thing is, we have to eat quite a bit of it, right? And a variety of it, and we're not doing it. So right there, we're not feeding the gut. The other thing we need to do is there's something called the probiotics, which are these organisms that live in the gut. They're called probiotics. And again, we get them from our food. And guess what, Kat? We get them from fermented foods. Now, I'm going to tell you what kind of foods they are, and the audience can do a check and see if they're getting it. So you get probiotics from foods like kimchi, sauerkraut, tempeh. These are all, soy products or other products. Kombucha.
And you're talking about soy products that have more of the old-fashioned Asian organic good soy products, not the soy products that are manufactured for use in packaged foods.
That's right. I'm talking about fermented foods. Difference, okay? It has to be fermented. So you can also get them from buttermilk, and I'll talk about that in a minute. You can get them from pickles, but they have to be fermented, not in vinegar, but in brine, because the vinegar will kill the bacteria. Anything that is, if you're going to use heat, kill the bacteria, right?
So the pickles I used to brine that weren't heated, I just brined them in the basement over 8 days. Those would have been fermented, but the ones I heated up and did quick and boiled and then sealed
you
them,
destroyed
those
all
were
the
just pickled but not fermented. All
right.
right.
All the ones that we get in the stores, which are usually in vinegar, right? So you can get, pickled any vegetable, pickled whatever, as long as it's in brine, no heat. Yeah, you're good to go.
Wow. All right.
Now, buttermilk is another thing. Two kinds, traditional, which you get where, you churn the milk to get the butter and the liquid.
What's left over is the buttermilk.
Buttermilk. The cultured one, which we do here in the West, I don't know what they do to it, but it's no good. Okay.
All right.
So
I want you to continue and tell us what else we can do and what else we should be looking at to change.
Okay. So 2 main things. One is, of course, elimination. Lots of people have problems with gut dysbiosis, sorry. They're constipated, or they have diarrhea, or they have bloating, gas, all that kind of stuff. And that's a sure sign that there's imbalance. So one of the things that happens is that we're lacking in magnesium. Now, our soil is so depleted of minerals that even if you're eating well, because of the depletion of the soil, the plants can't uptake any of these minerals. So we're not getting it when we eat it. So we need supplements. And magnesium is one of them. It helps with the movement of, the bowel movements, right? So the other thing that why we need magnesium is because it is over 300 enzymatic processes is done by the body. And if you don't have enough of magnesium, again, you see all those things don't take place.
I know that a lot of people who have sleeping problems is due to a lack of magnesium or a lack of magnesium and iodine, I believe.
Yeah. Because it's a relaxant as well. It does a lot of things. It's very important for the heart. Any muscle in the heart is a muscle, right?
Okay.
So there again, we need it for, I'm talking about the systemic right now, which just talking about the gut, okay? But it is so necessary. So we need to have magnesium. And the other thing that we really, really need is a good multi-purpose magnesium. I don't know how much time we have. Do we have much time?
We have about 5 minutes.
Okay, so I better go into this. I want to talk a little bit more about magnesium, but we'll just have to keep.
We will let.
So
I want listeners to know that you've got a free resource they'll be able to download that goes over some of these things and helps you understand what your body may be lacking, what you need to look at improving upon, exactly what the human microbiome, how it works, and the
Yes.
difference between prebiotics and probiotics. So they'll be able to read that later. All right. So go
Right.
ahead and
Right.
continue now.
So this, thank you, Kat. So the other thing is a good multipurpose vitamin. And the reason for that is uh, the body needs vitamins, it needs minerals, trace elements, it needs things like essential fatty acids, all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the body, see, the body has an innate ability to heal itself, provided you give it what it wants. Now, just to give you an example, you want to make a cake, a chocolate cake, and you go to get all the ingredients and you find out you don't have any cocoa, you don't have any chocolate. Oh, you can't make a chocolate cake, but maybe I can make a cake. But then you realize you don't have butter or flour or sugar or baking soda. So you see, you have to have the ingredients to make a cake or anything else. So it's the same thing with the body.
Mm-hmm.
So any of you, most probably a lot of people are having a multivitamin, but it's the quality. So check and see, is your multivitamin bioavailable? I'll explain. Is it methylated, and how potent is it? So bioavailable is just a term meaning can the body absorb what you're eating or what you're taking in? Because otherwise it's just
eliminated.
yes, exactly, waste of money. Methylated is there are about 30 to 40% of people that are missing this gene and cannot convert it. Say, for instance, you have folate, which is natural. The body can uptake it really fast. And then there is folic acid, which is a synthetic. The body can use it, but it takes 5 steps. Make it from folic acid to folate. So if you're missing any of these things, or if you're missing the gene, you're out of luck. So
is knowing we're missing that gene, is that an easy test for a doctor to order?
I think you could find that out, yeah. But one of the good things is to take a multivitamin that has it, right? That's already has done the work, so the body doesn't have to convert it. Like B12, for instance. You want to take a methylated B12. Right. Okay, and so do you understand?
Yes, I actually take a B complex that's known as a sublingual. So it's a liquid, it goes under my tongue, and it's more readily absorbed because my B vitamins are low. But good. I wanted to say one thing about the multivitamin is you don't want the cheapest, cutest, candiest version that's on the shelf. You need one, like you're saying, that has got good quality vitamins in there. I know for me, I'm allergic to one of the ingredients in many multivitamins, and it took me several years of trial and error to isolate which one I was allergic to. So, and then another while to find a multivitamin that didn't have this. And I'm allergic to chromium picolate, of all things.
Okay.
I can have chromium, but that chromium picolate makes me itch and get a rash from the inside out. It's horrible. So
right. And you need chromium. I don't know if we have time. We could go into all kinds of directions, but you need chromium for uptake of insulin, for glucose. For glucose to get into the cell, you need chromium and insulin.
So we'll have a link. So if people want to follow up with you, they'll be able to reach out to you on your website or social media, or through me. I can pass along that information.
That'd be great.
Oh, this is such important information.
It is.
And just take a minute and explain a little bit better than I did about what's included in your free resource.
Okay, so first and foremost, a lot of what I'm talking about, but I then talk about why B12 is necessary. There are a lot of people that don't have enough of B12, like a lot of things, and a lot of misdiagnosis happens because of it. Huge understanding to understand why you. So that's one of them. Then I talk about prebiotics, probiotics, and then the supplements, about the supplements, and then if people are not taking supplementation, I advise them as to where they can get it, that kind of thing.
Okay. And I noticed from when I read the free resource that one of the things you go into are some of the deficiencies that can be caused by a lack of the B12 vitamin in your system,
yes.
like cognitive, which,
Yes.
why are
Yes.
we fuzzy brained, or can't quite get our minds to focus and do what we need it to do? And you say that that and other diseases can be related to that deficiency of vitamin B12.
Right.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say is that these microorganisms, they actually make folate and B12. So you see how important it is that we look after our gut? It's imperative. It's like a little genie doing all the work for you.
And it's not that hard if you decide you want to be healthy, to make the effort to eat better. And yes, your grocery bill may be a little higher, but maybe it won't be if you're not buying the foods that are not giving your body any nutritional value, if you're just exchanging that and buying what you do need. And I'm going to go back to my favorite analogy. We love our pets. We want them as healthy as possible, so we feed them well and make sure they're fed well. And the first thing we look at when they're not feeling well is how do we improve their diet, knowing that's going to help them. We need to take that kind of care with our bodies as well.
Very important. I mean, really.
Well, I'm so glad that we overcame some of our earlier technical difficulties and you were able to spend this time with us and the listeners today. And I want to remind people who are watching my interview with Brenda that you will find in the show description notes and also on the screen a link that you can go to connect with Brenda and also to get her free download, her free resource. And if you're listening to this podcast, all you need to do is go to rockingyourpath.com, search for Fast Action Fridays, and Brenda's information, and the links will be there for you. Well, thank you so much, Brenda. I hope we get a chance to meet in person someday. I'd love to give you a nice big warm hug. I'm so glad that you were able to figure out what your health problems were. And then just such respect for you for following through on that and then taking what you learned and incorporating it into a business to serve other people and help them improve their lives and their bodies and their health as well. I think that's so admirable.
Thank you, Kat. Thank you so much.
Well, this is Kat Sturtz closing another episode of Fast Action Fridays. Remember to tune in next week when I have another great guest for you. Until then, remember to always keep rocking your unique path to success. Bye-bye.
Bye.